Hi, I'm Zach, this is Chasing Cars, and today I'm going to be introducing my new long-termer, a Ford Ranger. Over the next 3 months, I'm going to be driving this Ranger pretty much every day and putting it through a set of Chasing Cars challenges. Being a very proud Queenslander, I have grown up with utes pretty much my entire life. My dream ute, in fact, is a HSV Maloo, but I think this will do the job quite nicely. In this introduction video, I'm going to run through basically what this car is, what its cost, and what spec we have on test for this long-term experience. But before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe to Chasing Cars. Chasing Cars, honest reviews of your next car. Brought to you by Budget Direct. So before I get into what our Ranger spec is, let's talk a little bit about the Ford Ranger as a whole. Now this car has so many different variants, too much to list. You can get it in a 4x2 or a 4x4. There's 4 different engines available: single turbo 4-cylinder diesel, twin turbo 4-cylinder diesel, a 3-litre diesel V6, or a 3-litre petrol V6. So it's quite a lineup. So what exactly is this very ute that Ford has given us for this 3-month tenure? Well, this is a Wildtrak V6. Wildtrak basically sits below Platinum in the range, and again below the Raptor, so it's pretty high up in the range. This one has the 3-litre V6 turbo diesel engine, produces 184 kilowatts of power and 600 newton meters of torque, and boy can you feel that torque. But what exactly does this cost on the road as it stands? Well, this one is about $88,000 drive away in New South Wales, and I'll explain in a little bit why that is so. So with that $88,000 drive-away price, that puts this ute pretty high up in terms of its competitors. You're going to be able to get a Toyota Hilux in a very high spec for that sort of money. The Volkswagen Amarok Panamericana is probably this car's closest rival, and of course it's very similar under the skin. And of course, it's really important to note this is a really high selling vehicle in Australia. The Ford Ranger and the Toyota Hilux are right up there. Utes are so popular here in Australia, so I want to make sure that I test this one properly. So what exactly do you get for that $88,000 drive away? Well, at the very front, you get matrix LED headlights. That's part of a package. I'll talk a little bit about that later. You get standard 18-inch alloy wheels with Goodyear all-terrain rubber, V6 badging to show off to your mates. You have a pretty cool side step, standard roof rails, and at the back, there's a ton of features which we'll talk about in a second. But I think this is an awesome looking package and a really tough ute, but I guess it should for that money. So what are my first impressions of the front seat of the Wildtrak V6? Well, I really like the way it's been presented. I like the steering wheel. I like the yellow and orange stitching. It's a very rugged sort of appearance, but it works. It really does work. And I do like that it's got Wildtrak written on the console and on the seats. Now, in terms of technology in here, the main thing is this 12-inch screen. It runs wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I like that it has physical climate control buttons down here. The Amarok doesn't get that, so that's a big win. As for the instrument cluster, it's an 8-inch instrument cluster. You can get a bigger one, but I think it's pretty good so far. Again, we'll test these systems as we go with this 3-month tenure. And while we're in here, I just thought I'd pinpoint some of the key features that you should know about. Mainly the wireless charging pad just in here. You get pretty deep cup holders. You have a sunglass holder up here. And as part of this premium pack, you also get some auxiliary points, which is cool. You can add extra features in the future, as well as this has a B&O sound system too. So we're going to test all of this as we go along this 3-month journey. So what are the features like in the back of the Wildtrak? Well, we've got a little bit of stuff to talk about. It's pretty basic back here, but we've got dual air vents. We have a USB-C and a USB-A port, so that's good to have for your kids' iPads. You've got magazine pockets and a fold-down armrest with 2 cup holders. So I want to show you the tray of this ute. This is a pretty cool sort of setup that's happening here. So you just open it up, drop it down. It is slightly damped, which is good. It doesn't have a gas strut in here like a D-Max, but still really nice. You've got inside a 1400mm long tray by 1200mm between the wheel arches. And there's some really cool little features here. Obviously you have the tub liner, but there's also a flexible tie-down rack system inside. The Wildtrak gets an electric tonneau cover standard that just retracts back and forth. You can use the key. And there's also a feature where on here, if you're a tradie and you want to cut a piece of wood across this back tray here, you can actually put a C or G clamp in here and clamp down your wood. Now, I mentioned before a little bit about optional extras. There are a few on this ute. First is the lightning blue paint, which is $700. The other optional extra is the flexible rack system. So basically this whole rack here slides back and forth. It allows you to basically put more stuff on the roof, and tie it down at the rear of the car. And also this car has a premium pack on it. What that basically means is you get the Matrix LED headlights, you get some auxiliary switches on the roof inside, and also you get a Bang & Olufsen sound system. So it's a really nice package. Again, it's expensive, but I think it has that value add. And I thought I'd just touch as well on the towing capacity and payload capacity of this vehicle. For towing, it's 3,500 kilos braked, which is pretty standard for a lot of utes these days. In terms of payload, in the back here, you can put 966 kilograms worth of stuff. That's pretty good, a little bit under a ton, so not so bad. Now this also, with towing, it has a trailer sway controller, an integrated brake controller as well, all standard fit for this Wildtrak. So that's a really quick introduction on my new long-termer, the Ford Ranger Wildtrak V6. How cool is it? I'm gonna have a really good time with this car over the next 3 months. I've only got 3 months to do it in, but I've got a lot planned. I'm gonna go camping, plenty of off-roading, commuting, and I'm gonna take it up to the Noosa North Shore, Golden Beaches up there. Beautiful place to go, and I'm going to test out this thing on the beach and see how good it is. Hopefully it'll be much more golden than it is today in Sydney. So if you're really interested in the Ford Ranger and you want to see my journey over the next 3 months, please hit like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. We really appreciate it. And as always, thanks for watching Chasing Cars.